Welcome back to your special Boxing Day coverage here on GB News. Now, it's been another challenging year, and in light of the hard work of staff, some retailers decided not to open their shops today, which is usually one of the busiest days of the year, of course.
Yes, well, Morrison's and Marks & Spencer are among the shops that remain closed. Joining us now to discuss this is business expert Kate Hardcastle. Thank you so much for joining us. Kate, I mean, Boxing Day sales are traditionally the biggest day of the year for UK retailers, but many have agreed, including Aldi, Morrison's and M&S, to keep their doors shut today to give their staff a break. I mean, what impact do you think this might have?
Well, hi to you both and happy Boxing Day to everyone. I mean, if you're as old as I am, I've been in retail for over 25 years, you remember that Boxing Day was the day that we would turn on the televisions and you'd see the queues outside those big stores like Harrods. People would have tents, they'd been camping overnight to try and be the first ones through the door to get a bargain. And it was certainly done to create the spectacle of it, to remind us about those brands. It was a good form of advertising. But the world has changed and we've been through the biggest retail evolution that I think we will in many decades in just a matter of months. COVID has changed retail forever. That's because many of us turned to online, particularly when during the lockdowns we were unable to buy products any other way. And many of us have not returned to those stores. Now, that could be for all types of reasons. We know that some consumers have been nervous to get back out there at Christmas, particularly with warnings about the new variant. But in addition, people have found different things to do with their time. They're consuming differently. So it's a complete spectrum of reasons of why we're shopping the way that we are. And that's led to some big brands making the decision that actually their workers have had an incredibly tough 20-odd months. And if they can let them have the traditional day of Boxing Day off as well, why wouldn't they do that? And I think whilst there are some shoppers out there today, we've seen probably from Black Friday onwards that shopper numbers are down and they've not leveraged at all to those sort of pre-pandemic rates.
So is this a situation that you think may well continue in to next Christmas as well, sort of rolling back on that idea of having shops that are open and convenient for the consumer all the time? Are we going to see sort of shops closed more often as a full-time legacy of the pandemic?
We're amidst a retail evolution indeed. And I think actually there's some really good things that have come out of it and will continue to come out of it. We need a vibrancy of big and small stores for greater identity of place. And what I mean by that is we don't want to turn up to all our high streets and them look identical, like carbon copies with the same coffee chains and the same brands. We want those independent retailers who have had an incredibly challenging time to survive and thrive. It's going to make for a better high street. We need better social interaction. We need more things to do, less places to shop, but probably better quality places to shop. That doesn't mean about price. It can be the value side of things too. A reason for us to go and visit. Simply put, we don't need to shop in that way anymore, so we have to want to do it. And I really believe when we're ready to get back out there, because remember, we also have an isolation crisis here in the UK. Millions of adults saying they're feeling the bite of loneliness. It is a place for us to go and congregate once more. So let's not rule out the high street. Let's just say we need it to evolve and change, and retail will be part of that. But I do agree with you. Yes, this is going to be a turning point, and it's not going to go back to those days that we remember where we all had to be forced into the high streets.
And then now, I mean, if there is some of these challenges going on in retail, where do we get our best bargains on the Boxing Day sales?
Well, I think those people who are bargain hunters will already have caught you out. They probably were there earlier on online, making sure that they knew exactly when the sale button was going to turn over on those websites to make sure that they had the products ready to go. First and foremost, I'm going to sound a little bit like everyone's mum now. If you don't need it and you can't afford it, it's never a bargain anyway. And that doesn't mean to say you can't have fun in the sales. Just do so cautiously, because we know January is going to be a time where we really feel the pinch of the increase in prices, generally on things like fuel and food, etc. And it can always be a bit of a stinger of a month anyway. But yes, there are bargains to be had. The best thing to do is compare the price. Make sure that you aren't going to commit to that sale online or in store if it can be bought better elsewhere. And we have these brilliant tools now, these comparison websites that let you do that just in a few moments.
Now, just finally, I'm after some advice for people that might well be watching this at home and might not have had the most exciting Christmas, may have had some disappointing Christmas presents, but Christmas presents that they received without the receipts. What on earth can people at home do if they've received a gift? They might not want it. They might want to return it back to a shop, exchange it perhaps. What are their rights there?
Okay, so you don't really have a right to return something because you don't like a present. You have the ability to return something that's not fit for purpose or faulty in any way, and you should go straight back to the retailer. But perhaps consider doing the kind-hearted thing. Maybe if you don't want it, rather than putting it in the wardrobe to recycle for someone else, maybe you could gift it to charity. Some stores will be goodwill enough to let you perhaps choose something else. Don't get caught out like I did though, and then not have the good on display when the person who gave it you comes round for dinner and you have a very sticky situation to deal with. But good luck with those returns.
Oh, well, that's excellent advice. Thank you very much, Kate Hardcastle, there for joining us, giving not only advice but also a well-rounded view of what's going on in the retail sector. A very important topic to cover.